I transmigrated as the hero's vicious older sister. When Eleanor Ellie Hart woke up in a strange bed with silk sheets and a throbbing headache, she knew something was off. Back in her old life, she'd been a walking disaster, tripping over curbs, locking herself out of her apartment, and once accidentally adopting a raccoon she thought was a cat. So transmigrating into a novel? Par for the course. The real kicker? She wasn't the plucky heroine or even a glamorous villainess. No, she was Charlotte Ashwood, the venomous older sister of the male lead, a spiteful, 18th-tier sidekick doomed to die at 18 and a half. Ellie glanced at the ornate bedroom, then at the calendar on the wall. February 22, 2025, or, in this world, the 18th year of the Crimson Reign. She was 18 years and 1 month old. Fantastic, she muttered, flopping back onto the bed. I've got 5 months to dodge the Reaper. Downstairs, her half-brother Theo Ashwood stood in the parlor, rubbing his cheek where she, or rather, Charlotte, had just slapped him. High cheekbones, deep-set eyes, and a face that could launch 1,000 fanfics. Ellie froze mid-step. The author had described him as a peach blossom in human form, and damn if that wasn't spot on. How could Charlotte lay a hand on this? Ellie's inner monologue screeched to a halt. Focus, woman. No swooning over your brother, even if he's fictional. Is it over, Charlotte? Theo asked, his voice flat as he bit his bloodied lip. I've got homework to finish. Ellie blinked, her arms still crossed in Charlotte's signature haughty pose. The old Charlotte would have sneered and kicked him while he was down. But Ellie? She wasn't about to let this kid's tragic backstory, or her own early grave, play out as written. In the Thorned Crown saga, Charlotte tormented Theo until she keeled over from sheer glee, crashing a stolen carriage with a gang of thugs. Theo, meanwhile, suffered beautifully, deafened in one ear by her cruelty, missing the heroine's whispered confession, and spiraling into a lifetime of misery. The author had a vendetta against happiness, apparently. Nice. Ellie blurted, eyeing Theo's towering frame, nearly 6'3" at 18, all sharp angles and liquid eyes. I mean, no. More hitting. New leaf, fresh start. Let's go home. She grabbed his wrist, ignoring his startled flinch, and dragged him out the door. They didn't make it 10 steps before a pack of multicolored delinquents surrounded them, greasy hair, leather jackets, the works. Ellie grinned. Hero. Moment incoming. But before she could throw a punch, one of them bowed. Boss, how we handling him today? He thrust a baseball bat into her hands. Ellie stared at it, then at Theo, whose expression had gone from resigned to outright dead inside. Oh, right. That scene. In the book, Charlotte beats Theo senseless with this very bat, leaving him half-deaf. Ellie's stomach churned. The red mark on his cheek glared at her accusingly. Change of plans, she said, shoving the bat back at the thug. No one's hitting anyone. Scram. The gang blinked, confused, but shuffled off. Theo didn't move, just watched her with those fathomless eyes. Ellie sighed. Look, I'm not her, not the old Charlotte. Let's call me Saint Eleanor, here to sprinkle kindness on your tormented soul. She struck a dramatic pose, hoping for a laugh. Nothing. Tough crowd. Back home, Theo's mother, Lydia Ashwood, greeted them at the door. She took one look at Theo's bruised face, sighed, and brushed his cheek with a gentle hand. Please, let me stop worrying, she murmured, her voice soft as a lullaby. Then her gaze flicked to Ellie, heavy with unspoken reproach. Ellie winced. The book had a line about Lydia. She wondered what Theo wanted at 15 when he became himself. He wept alone. Silent as stone. Ellie squared her shoulders. Lydia, Mom, I'm turning over a new leaf. No more evil sister shtick. Promise. To prove it, she hauled out a fancy skincare set, moisturizer, anti-aging serum, the works, and plopped it in Lydia's lap. For you. Restore, hydrate, defy time. You're stunning, and Dad'll love it. Lydia froze, clutching Ellie's wrist mid-application. Charlotte, I'm too old for this, she said, voice trembling. Nonsense. Ellie insisted, slathering cream on her own face to demonstrate. See? Silky smooth. But when she glanced up, Lydia and Theo were staring at her like she'd grown horns. Apparently, Charlotte calling Lydia Mom was a horror movie twist in this household. That night, at 3 a.m., Theo knocked on her door. Ellie, bleary-eyed in a bunny onesie, squinted at him. Theo? What's up? Can I come in? His bruised lip twitched, his gaze earnest. She nodded, and after an awkward silence, he spoke, soft as wilting petals. I don't know what's gotten into you, Charlotte, but please, leave my mom alone. Ellie's heart sank. 3 years of Charlotte's cruelty couldn't be undone with a skincare kit and a smile. He thought she was plotting something worse. Theo, she stopped. Then grabbed his shoulders, eyes blazing. I get it now. Slow and steady, right? I've always wanted a sibling to share stuff with, joys, woes, snacks. You're stuck with me now. He blinked, dubious, but didn't pull away. Progress. Things got weird fast. Ellie started splitting everything with Theo, half her allowance, half her fries, half her dignity. She even buskied in the wealthy Hazelwood district, sawing away at a fiddle she'd somehow mastered. Charlotte had been a piano prodigy, but Ellie couldn't play a note. Her rendition of a mournful folk tune drew crowds, and cash. She spent it all on Theo, toy ducks, superhero figurines, anything to brighten his gloomy existence. Her dad, Arthur Ashwood, caught wind of this and hauled her to a shrink. Fiddling in the streets? Buying your brother gifts? Are you possessed? Ellie grinned, spinning a tale about a school counselor's influence. Her silver tongue won the day, Arthur bought it, and she dodged a padded cell. But Theo noticed. At school, where Charlotte had once ruled as valedictorian, Ellie tanked her exams spectacularly, math, 15 out of 100. Theo, perennial runner-up. Thanks to Charlotte's threats, claimed first place. One day, he cornered her in the bamboo grove behind campus. You're not Charlotte, he said, staring her down. What? Yes, I am. Ellie yelped, chicken leg dangling from her mouth. I'm Charlotte Ashwood, 100% authentic. No, he insisted, lashes fluttering like a detective mid-reveal. Charlotte's a genius. You're not. Ergo, you're someone else. Who are you really? Ellie choked. I'm, still me. Maybe I hit my head or something. Amnesia. That's it. He didn't buy it, but the bell rang, and they lapsed into uneasy silence. Months blurred by. Ellie dragged Theo to food stalls, stuffing him with spicy hot dogs until he couldn't protest. She replaced Charlotte's icy glares with goofy grins, but the book's plot loomed. At 18 and a half, Charlotte dies in a joyride crash. Ellie was there now, 5 months gone, her deadline ticking closer. One night, sleepless and pacing, she found Theo collapsed by the fridge, glass shards in his hand, blood pooling. His stomach condition, aggravated by years of Charlotte's sabotage, had flared up. Theo, she yelled, prying the glass free, despite his weak resistance. A shard sliced her arm, but she ignored it, hoisting him onto her back and stumbling to the security post. Lydia and Arthur rushed home from a tropical getaway. In the hospital, Lydia confronted her. Charlotte, I've never wronged you, she said, tears brimming. Ellie couldn't argue, she wasn't Charlotte, but the damage was hers to fix. Later, she spotted a girl in the ER, Clara Hensley, the heroine, battered from a bullying incident. The story was aligning, Theo's scars, Clara's arrival, Ellie's impending doom. Her kindness hadn't changed a thing. Defeated, Ellie set up a street stall again, banging out fast-paced rhymes on a clapperboard, with a beat and a clap. Hear me sing, praise the buns. That make Hart sing. Thin skin, big fill, 18 folds so neat, a flower of dough you can't beat. Neighbors tossed coins, amused by her antics. Theo found her after his latest triumph, top of the class. You didn't flunk because you were sick, he said, smirking. You ate 2 bowls of funky noodles and a gallon of soy milk. Guilty, she shrugged. How's your hand? He showed her. The scar hit his lifeline, just as the book foretold. Then he grinned. You're not Charlotte. I've analyzed it. AM2, she sputtered, but he dashed off, teasing, catch me, Eleanor whoever you are. She chased him, laughing despite herself. On Theo's birthday, the fake one, some fortune teller had fudged the real date. He ambushed her at 3 a.m., demanding gifts. Ellie tried Charlotte's old venom. Get lost, you ungrateful brat. It backfired. He sulked off, only to return with the giant teddy she'd hidden in Arthur's room. Found your bluff, Eleanor, he crowed, prancing in bare pajamas. Good morning, sis. She groaned, sleep ruined. But as Theo grew bolder, teasing, bickering, trusting, Ellie realized something. She'd rewritten him, even if her fate stayed sealed. Maybe that was enough. As my 18th birthday loomed, the book's designated death knell for Charlotte Ashwood, I couldn't shake the dread. In the Thorned Crown Saga, Arthur Ashwood, my dad, gets framed by a scheming rival, bankrupted, and leaves a mountain of debt that crushes Theo. I'd be dead, Theo'd be destitute, and the plot would chug along to its miserable end. I paced the house, eyeing everyone like a paranoid detective. Was the maid a spy? The gardener? Then I noticed Theo trailing Dad everywhere, market runs, coffee shops, even the barber. Suspicious. One afternoon, I tailed them, ducking behind lampposts like a discount Sherlock. My jaw dropped when I saw Dad buying Theo a box of pastries from Rosewood Bakery, his favorite almond tarts. Traitors, I muttered. No wonder they'd been skipping my cooking. That night at dinner, I plated my latest culinary disaster, lumpy mashed potatoes and overcooked chicken, and stared them down. Not hungry again? I asked, smirking. Thinly. Lydia was away visiting family, leaving me in charge of meals. My delicate hands, meant for piano or, apparently, the fiddle, were now peeling carrots. Tragic. Theo glanced at Dad, who stayed mum. After a beat, Theo's voice turned syrupy. Charlotte, can I cook tomorrow? Please? Dad nodded like a bobblehead. Let him, Charlotte. Boys need to learn. Times have changed, men in aprons are everywhere now. I pouted. Is my cooking that bad? Barely, Theo said, too quick. Just a tiny bit awful. I dragged him to my room, pinning him by the collar. Don't move. It tickles, he whined, squirming as his cheeks flushed. The heater was cranked to 80, and he was overheating. I snatched his phone, doodled a mustache on his face with a marker, matching a sketch I'd found, and grinned. There. Now you're art. Back at the table, Theo turned traitor. Dad, don't blame her, he said, all innocent. She's got tons of admirers at school. She's too nice to say no. Then, with a sly glint, she's dated 6 guys already, Clara told me. Dad slammed his hand on the table. 6 boyfriends? You're months from college entrance exams, sneaking out to date? What if you meet a creep? Thank God Theo's covering for you, I'd never have known. Tears welled up, partly from guilt, partly because Theo's smug look screamed gotcha. He and Clara were tight, she'd saved his life once. And he'd repay her with intel. I shot back, Theo's 19 and still single. He's glued to Clara, maybe I've got 2 brothers, huh? Dad sighed. He's waiting for college to find a smart girl. You used to be top of your class, now look at you. Theo cut in, she's great, Dad. That's why she's so popular. I beamed at him, touched. Siblings, they rile you up, then save your skin. But when I met his eyes, he dodged, same as always. Shy kid. Good news? I hit 19, alive and kicking. Bad news? Theo and I ended up at Kingston University together. I'd aced the fiddle audition for their arts program, special admission, while Theo, physics prodigy, waltzed in on talent. He'd spent senior year shadowing Dad, who'd inexplicably retired early, dodging the bankruptcy bullet. I'd been too busy fretting to notice they'd been lobbying Professor Clarence, a retiring music dean, to take one last student, me. Theo greased the wheels with his charm and a physics prof connection. Sneaky. My tutor, a wiry woman with a sharp tongue, had mixed reviews. Your fiddle's Kingston material, no doubt. But math? 58? You're lucky to scrape by anywhere. Theo couldn't save my numbers, genius has limits. He opted for Midland U originally, lured by snow and history, but Kingston snagged him. Me? I stumbled into greatness. High school rumors painted me a fallen star, once a valedictorian, now a fiddle-busking flirt, with 6 suitors offering tutoring. They all bailed, mumbling, I'm not worthy. Typical. Theo, meanwhile, became Kingston's golden boy. At 6'4", with a chiseled face and zero dating history, he was catnip for freshmen. Girls pre-booked him online. Find a cool, elegant type, I teased, showing him a photo app predicting kids' looks from parents. Your babies would be gorgeous. He shrugged, then asked, what do you like? I flashed a shirtless model, ripped abs, broad shoulders. Fit, reliable, hot. My friend's new boyfriend had inspired me, shirtless, pinning her against a wall, pure heat. Did Theo have abs? I wondered. The campus confession wall confirmed it. Theo's swim team pics tracked his abs evolution to 8-pack glory. A fan club, Guardians of Theo's Abs, crowned me leader after I leaked his high school quirks. They bribed me for more coupons, autographs, but I held firm. Privacy matters, I sniffed. Then I made Theo pose shirtless. No face, or they won't buy it, I said, snapping candids. He offered to strip further. Yes. I cheered, then stopped him. Not that much, keep it PG. My roommate, Felicity, dragged me to a swim meet. Prime beef on display, she winked, eyeing a freshman. I spotted Theo, pale, sculpted, unmistakable. Felicity grinned. Him. I want him. I sized her up against my cool girl photo. Solid match, I said, imagining cute nieces. I introduced them. Theo, my roommate. He barely glanced. Hey. Cold as ever. I nudged him, play nice, but someone zoomed us onto the Jumbotron, and he whispered, forgot me already? I'd been busy with the arts troupe, dazzling dignitaries with my fiddle. He sulked, rejecting Felicity's friend request over it. I bribed him with a sleek watch. For you. He eyed another bag. That's a scarf for Felix, my friend's crush, I explained. He stared, hurt, then kissed me. Smoke and liquor clung to him. He pinned me, biting hard, ignoring my flailing. When he let go, I snapped, what the hell? He smirked, bloody-lipped. I know. I fled. Dazed. The book flared in my mind, Theo's first love confession, drunk, smoky, under a camphor tree. I'd seen the sign glowing behind him. Was I Clara's stand-in now? I rebelled, joining the troupe on a national tour, anything to dodge the script. 3 months later, at New Year's, we reunited. Dad and Lydia, retired, volunteered at a kid's home, leaving us homebound. Theo cooked my favorites, cola wings, dumplings, while I planned a movie date with Felix's brother, Tom. Be back late, I called. Theo untied his apron. I'll come. I stopped him. It's with Tom. We're set. He nodded, blank-faced. The film's kiss scene got awkward. Tom leaned in, I dodged, and we rode the tram home in silence. At the door, something blocked it. Theo yanked me inside, kissing me. With mint and whiskey heat. I slapped him. Theo, stop. He scooped me up, pinning me in my room. I'm sober, he slurred, reciting math facts. 1 + 1 is 2. Go to bed. I begged, but he laced our fingers, nuzzling my neck. Wanna see my heart-shaped birthmark? He purred. I stammered, and no. He grinned, drunk and reckless. I'm your gift, unwrap me. Then he passed out, sprawling across me. Morning found him sheepish under blankets. Do you hate me? He mumbled. No, I said. Liking someone's fine, but not me. That first kiss, smoke, booze, when'd you pick those up? He frowned. I don't smoke. Barely drink. That camphor night, I grabbed Kai's jacket by mistake, he's a chain smoker. First kiss, no practice. I'll improve. He spiraled after that. Once, when I ditched him for a classmate, he searched for me in pouring rain, shivering and soaked. Charlotte, he croaked, trembling. He hurt himself to numb fear. I'd leave. Another time, after a solo movie night, he smashed my mirror, cut his hand, and collapsed from a stomach flare-up. Dad found him, panicked, and Theo sobbed my name all night. Later, Dad asked, You like her? Theo nodded. Dad sighed. You're a good kid. Liking her's not wrong, but hurting yourself? You need help. Theo pleaded for a chance, and with therapy, Dad and Lydia stepped back. Years on, Theo, Kingston's youngest physics prof, closed a seminar with, Every soul has a star in the cosmos. Studying it's the grandest romance. May you find yours. He twirled his wedding band, grinning at me. Epilogue. That drunken night after Theo's stomach scare, I'd swiped Dad's whiskey. Theo. I tackled him, kissing sloppily. He yelped, What are you doing? I gnawed his neck, ranting, Why am I a sidekick? The author notes your birthmark, but skips my piano skills. I'll be the star. He wiped my tears, begging, Don't strip me. I spilled my origin, Ellie, from another world. He blushed for weeks after. Clara once lured him out, kissing him for the plot. My hickeys tipped her off, he was taken. Rumors flew, Theo loved a big-eyed, toothy girl. I asked if he liked someone. Yeah, he said. Pretty? Very. I dated others, seeking better, but no one matched him. Now, married, he confessed girls flooded his inbox. I smirked, I sold your number. Funded your gifts. He hoisted me, laughing, self-sufficient, huh? Let's make our own joy. Classmates cheered as we vanished indoors.